guys, we're gonna take some questions. I did pull in a few new speakers. So let's before we wrap up this space, I'll start off with you, Christian. You Universe 999. Did you want to ask something?
Hey, thank you for letting me up. And I didn't really have any specific questions, but I just had some, I don't know, some things to lay down related to these topics and how we can break through it. Because inherently, like this conversation, it's great to spread this awareness. And how do we break out of it now? Now that these facts are being exploited. What we need to do is just further make people aware, do more research, better research.
Hey, Christian, we do host this space every Wednesday. We do want to get through. There's a lot of hands up, so if you don't mind, come back next week and then we could dissect it. But with that, I'll go to Atara.
Hello, thank you for letting me speak. I was in a Patriot Storm space earlier and spoke with them. I've been in y'all spaces before. I've missed a lot of them for some reason. I don't know. I just knew about this one because y'all invited Patriot. But anyway, I actually had an update on the Ryan Garcia thing I wanted to bring to everyone's attention that I seen. That was posted by Shadow Up Ezra. Okay, I posted it down in the comments. Okay, it says, Bryce Hall responds to the accusations made by Ryan Garcia that he was messing around with underage kids. Bryce Hall might be telling us the truth and thinking that we won't believe it because it's too crazy. Bryce Hall. It's true. Ryan was with me on Epstein's Island. We got recruited to the Illuminati together and did a blood sacrifice while worshiping Satan. He's trying to leave the cult now and is getting exposed by the masses.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Okay, you did see that. Okay. Well, I just wanted to make everyone in here aware of it, though it's not on exact subject that this space is about, but he was discussed in here, so I want everyone to be aware of that, because that's pretty heavy for someone to say, even as a joke, I guess that's supposed to be. That's pretty heavy to say, especially when you were just accused of, harming children.
That's the voice of Twitter user Atara Israel.
Yeah, he admitted, like, that's a crime. Like, it's kind of crazy. I saw that earlier. Yeah, I went on there. I got tagged. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. I just wanted to say that, and that's really the only thing that I raised my hand or requested to speak for everybody to, get aware of that. That's, crazy right there. So y'all can, drop me back down or whatever, but that's all I really wanted to say.
Yeah, I didn't hear that either. Thank you, Atara. Y3X144, go ahead.
Hey, been listening to the space. I love the conversation everyone's having, and it's good that we have these conversations because they definitely need to be happening with everything that's been happening now. But I just was curious. I mean, this is probably a whole nother conversation within itself, but how does AI play into this? Because, I mean, I can see AI exploding, but the way technology is going. I mean, I spent a lot of time in the crypto and DeFi space, and
that's the voice of Caden Green, aka Caden Fraser.
A lot of innovation happening, and just
Twitter user Y3X144 Realm.
Curious how that would play out, but like I said, that's a whole nother conversation. But that's what I had to contribute.
Y3, have you seen the movie Into the Light by chance?
I actually have not yet.
Mike and I and others, we go into pretty good detail.
The other name is the co-host speaking, Brian Gambit, and that is the voice of Detective Timothy Fitzgibbon.
About what I coined sixth generation warfare in the movie, that brings in AI and how AI is utilized in the more modern version of
Timothy Fitzgibbon is wanted by the FBI in relation to adult acts of sexual interference with a minor in the state of Illinois by the United States government.
They call MK Ultra, but we're far more advanced today than we were back when those programs were running. And if you're in the space of artificial intelligence, you'll probably resonate with that movie quite well. But it is, in short, how we as people and consumers of social media program our digital twin, and they boot up our digital twin in their metaverse and runs these analysis against your digital twin, and then once they crack you, then they bring that into the physical domain and put it in front of you in forms of messaging and music and things like that, tailor made to your person. So I think it'll resonate with you. If anybody here has not seen the movie, you can watch Out of Shadows still for free. The blockbuster from Mike and Liz. It's intothelight.movie is the website domain you can go to, and then you can still watch that for free. And for $4.99, you can watch Into the Light. Mike was gracious enough to donate his time and his money for Out of Shadows, and he's only asking $4.99 for Into the Light. But,
I apologize.
So the Mike they're referring to is Mike Crux, Crux, in parentheses, Mike. He's the co-host of Into the Light, which is the Twitter live stream, which we were just listening to.
Seen Out of Shadows.
Okay, so this is the sequel.
The stuntman, right? The stuntman.
Yes, yeah, he's here, Mike.
He's right here. Yep. This is the stuntman.
No, what? Yeah, who is I?
Crux, that's him.
Say hey, Mike.
The reference to the stuntman is the individual who's been stealing my cars and crashing them.
Crux. Yo, what up, dog?
Hey, what's up, man?
Love what.
Oh, you're awake, Mike.
No, I'm not. I was just listening.
Yo, I recognize that voice. Yeah, that's totally you.
100%.
I was just trying to be quiet and let everybody talk because I've been talking all night. Sorry.
No, but Mike, yeah, we were telling go check out Into the Light, the sequel to Out of Shadows, to talk about how we get into AI and
yeah, you guys listen. Like we had I didn't want to make Into the Light, to be honest.
That voice is the voice of either Aaron Doncaster or Chris Rowley.
Honest with you. But I felt like the people need to understand how they're being manipulated through the media and why they're being manipulated and who's doing it.
The lispy undertones of the voice suggest to me that it is in fact Aaron Doncaster, because Aaron had a similar speech impediment with his voice when I knew him from Occupy Calgary.
Because unless people understand that, they're not going to understand how to fight it back.
That's the voice of Chris Rowley, the other speaker.
So I just took a stance and was like, okay, well.
It actually sounds like they're co-hosting the same live feed, and both of them are speaking dually at the same time from one single account, which is the Crux Mike account. So there's actually two voices communicating on one single account. One is Chris Rowley and the other Aaron Doncaster.
I'm going to explain it to you. And Brian and Gerald Flynn and Lara Logan and Keith Rose and Boone Cutler and all these people came forward and exposed a lot of the stuff that we've been subjected to, and that's why we, made the film. And so if you have a minute, I highly encourage you guys to go check it out, because it'll answer a lot of questions, or at least begin a conversation. So yeah.
And if you're in Silicon Valley, I think me and Liz are all going out to California here soon. But we go around the country with America's Future, which is General Flynn's organization with the sister in them. And at these summits that raise awareness against child sex trafficking, we do screen the movie for guests, and then we do a panel that people can ask Liz, Mike, and others answers, questions. But
these individuals are referring to screening the movie for guests and talking about how they screen their company for child sex trafficking and how they're against that organization. This is the same group of organizers who's attempted to sell me into sex trafficking themselves. And what seems to be the case here is unfolding is that these individuals are adopting opportunities to slander noteworthy people and to deprive them of their financial assets in order to promote what is themselves a pro-pedophilia stance while concealing their activities.
it's on America's Futures website, americasfuture.net, right? You can get that event schedule. But if not, go to the website, IntoTheLight.movie, and you'll be able to check it out. It's a great movie.
And we won't be going to Bohemian Grove.
But it's not that evil, Liz. Come on.
So these individuals reference the Bohemian Grove, which I cannot commentate on, but are making insinuations that this is a place that it involves activities with children and minors, a narrative which Alex Jones was a very avid promoter of.
It's an inside joke, everybody. Oh man, that'll never not be funny.
That female voice was the voice of a person who I believe to be known as Cassandra Dash.
Ben, you're up next, brother, if you want to say or ask your question, and then we'll follow that with Tom.
Sure. Thanks for letting me join on here, guys. Hope your evening is well. And thought-provoking dialogue we're having here. I was looking at the subject matter at hand here, talking about Hollywood pedophilia exposed, Nickelodeon, Bohemian Grove, etc. And, I have not seen the film Into the Light, but I just wanted to kind of, I guess, play the devil's advocate, if you will, on some of the points that have been discussed, because you guys make some very intriguing points. But I do kind of feel that some of the points being made come from a very ill-informed or uninformed perspective. And before people take that offensively, because it's not my intention to say that you guys are uninformed. That's not what I'm suggesting here. What I want to say is that myself, okay, I have, first of all, relationships with major Hollywood actors. I will not name those actors, but I will say that I have worked with these actors. I have worked with major musicians in the music and entertainment business. And I have worked with some very, what we will say are the top people in the entertainment industry. And I've been very privileged that way. And I can tell you from the 8 years that I have been involved in the entertainment industry, a lot of this dysphoria with respect to discussions about Hollywood conspiracy and pedophilia, a lot of these discussions about major organizations. Now, please understand, I don't discredit that these, monsters, these depraved child predators and these evils are a presence in, various instances. I won't say that they are a presence in Hollywood because I've not been witness to it. And I will not at any point say that I know anything about Hollywood specifically, but I can say, coming from an educated perspective of working with some of the top names in the entertainment industry in both music, film, and television, including and not limited to broadcasting. I have a very diverse portfolio for entertainment. I've worked with some of the best people in the industry. I've gotten to know them personally. I've had video conversations.
I'm sorry, Ben. We've got people wanting to ask questions. So
no, so my point is,
I don't like the smell of this.
Ben, what do you do in the industry?
I am myself a I am a voice actor.
So that dark voice with the filter heavily applied sounds like and appears to be an individual who I've come across recently, and I will withhold information on his name for now because I do not want to compromise someone who may be a fellow investigator.
Okay.
Entertainer and a
Okay,
promoter.
man. Listen, I'm not going to be a dick to you tonight, but listen, I spent 30 years in the business. You're a voice actor. I was in the Screen Actors Guild. I'm in the Writers Guild. I'm in the DGA.
And if you're in those organizations and you're going around talking about Hollywood pedophilia, my friend, I don't think you're going to be a part of those guilds much longer.
I'm not part of the guilds because I gave up my
decision.
What is this guy? Get this guy the fuck out of here, son.
Okay.
Wait, wait. Hold on. Ben, what are you trying to say? Are you trying to say that pedophilia is not a problem in Hollywood? Like,
no, I'm saying that I looked into your film project, and it seems to be more of
Which
you
one?
guys are promoting.
Which one?
This is shameless self-promotion of a film project, which
Ben,
actual essence is
Ben, we'll
what I would
respect
call.
you, but you got to be specific. What movie are you talking about? What film are you specifically
I'm looking at your film Into the Light, and it's all very much right-wing, evangelical, Christian
Okay,
motivated.
Ben, listen, no, listen, everybody, chill. Listen, Ben, I was in that movie. I talked about artificial intelligence and how it's being utilized to manipulate. Do you want to compare your background as a voice actor or my background as a military analyst? What gives you the expertise to come at me and say what I spoke about or anything in that film?
You're basically a fucking extra, dude.
Yes, exactly. What gives you the credentials to come at Mike or me or General Flynn or Boone?
So that individual who chimed in and said, I'm an extra, that is believed to be the voice of Eric Dow / Fraser. Eric used to be a member of my paranormal society and then went on a very aggressive defamation campaign to slander and discredit my reputation for his own personal gains.
Dr. Keith Rose or Lara Logan and say what we're saying is not true or somehow misleading because we're some right-wing Christian whatever. Okay, fine, say that, but why don't you come in with some, evidence? Why don't you say
the comment of because we're some right-wing Christian evangelical group? At no point did my comments insinuate that they were right-wing or that they were evangelical, and his comments identify them as a right-wing evangelical extremist group known for affiliations with child trafficking and pedophilia.
That's not true.
You're saying, you guys, I've been listening for a while. You guys are making all these allegations. You're making these suggestions
We're
of.
making allegations.
Yo, you sound like CNN, dude. Yo,
tell us about your pinky ring,
stop the nonsense, bro. Stop the
The host chimes in to comment upon my Illuminati ring, which I wear on my pinky.
madness, bro. Cut it out.
I know you
look like a casino son, but chill. Who brought you here?
Let's hear what he's got to say.
Here's the thing. If you guys are going to talk over me, then, there's no point in me having this discussion. I thought this was an open forum where you allow people
to have
a moment of dialogue, but instead you're being rude as hosts. You're interrupting me, talking over me. You're not allowing me to finish my thought, what I have to say.
Stop playing the victim and go ahead.
Let him speak.
I love people in uniform. That it is an admission to affiliations with police and law enforcement.
You're promoting controversy and trying to enamor what I would call hate-fueled media without any actual intellectual insights. And here I am coming to bring you some intellectual insights and correct some of the facts that you're making some rather slanderous and libelous commentaries towards some very notable and noteworthy people who I've had the privilege of working with directly.
So you work with who? Who specifically?
I'm not going to give names, my friends.
Okay, so you're not going to give names of the pedophiles.
And I've worked with all of them, dude. I did the business for 30 years. You are a voice actor. I was a director, a writer.
That is the voice of Chris Rowley speaking. And again, that's Crux / Mike, whatever, who's the co-host of the live stream we're listening to.
A member of the Academy and a Screen Actor Guild member for 30 years.
Okay,
what are you going to tell me?
Let me explain. Let me ask you a question. If you have been in the film industry for 30 years and you know all of these people and you have been a part of all of these guilds, explain to me, because I'm also a member of those same guilds. I'm a member of those same associations.
Oh, really?
And I can tell you right now,
because I don't believe you.
Nobody in those associations would come out and identify themselves as members of those associations unless they were told that they could do so.
Yeah, we see your profile picture, buddy. Yeah, we know what you are.
Greg, let Mike have his fun, please.
Oh, I'm just laughing right now because honestly, brother, I wouldn't even have spoken up. But when you say I'm a voice actor and I know these people, I've worked with them, bro, you did nothing. You were a voice actor with these people, and
that is the voice of Chris Rowley. 100% positive ID. The lisp and the tones of the voice are a pretty much 98% match.
You might know them, but you don't know them. Okay? I worked at the highest levels in this, and I walked away from it. You need to go look into who I really am and what I did, and then you could come back and tell me.
And you know what? I've looked into your profile because I don't just make appearances on any program without doing a little bit of due diligence myself before I make my appearances. And what I can tell you, nobody's heard of you, nobody knows you. So when you say you've been in this industry for 30 years and you have the portfolio and the experience you do, I've been working for 7 years, and these people
you live in Canada, obviously. Are you?
That is a revelation that identifies that these users have been looking for or already have pre-existing information on my portfolio, my personality, and my person, because that is not information that was revealed to them.
You are so full of crap.
Are you a Canadian? Yes or no?
Yes, I am a Canadian
citizen.
Yeah,
because you don't live in LA, bro. Shut up.
Yeah, and you know what? LA is the film capital of the world, my friend.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Here we go. All right.
The quip about goof action is Ryan LaForge.
And you have an interesting ring there, buddy.
Yes, it is a very interesting ring, isn't it?
That's so weird.
Are you
What fraternities, what societies are you a part of?
I think this is clear.
The comment of "Are you Michael?" is in reference to Michael Jackson.
We know what you are. We see your profile pic.
Yeah.
That is a comment that indicates that these persons have detailed knowledge of actual integrated human and child trafficking operations because they're well versed and coded in the terminology.
What societies am I part of? That's a question nobody would ask.
Just out of curiosity, Ben, could you tell us your portfolio? What kind of work you've worked on?
I work with top actors, top producers, top people in the music industry. I have promoted artists, promoted talent.
Name them.
And I have
Name them.
I appeared on The Simpsons, episode 12.
Yeah, you're an extra. You're a background.
I appeared on The Simpsons, episode 12. Episode 12 of The Simpsons was from 1989.
You're not even on the main. Dude, you can say.
Side note, Eric Fraser / Dal is an avid fan of The Simpsons.
Just like everybody in Hollywood. Oh,
now, may I ask why this group is having civilized dialogue, but I come in and all of a sudden everybody's...
No, because you started talking shit.
Yeah, you're giving the wrong place, bro.
Because you're talking fucking shit, that is the voice of Caden Green.
Started talking shit about your background.
Can you just talk about your portfolio? Who have you been working with, bro? Just talk about it, dude. It's that easy.
I will not, because in the industry, I'm going to tell you right now. If you knew the industry, you'd know why I don't talk about my relationships.
I walked away from it, brother. I know the industry very well.
You don't. Who have you worked with?
That other voice, I knew the industry, I walked away from it. That is the voice of Thomas Mackey. And Thomas is using a voice filter to conceal his identity and his voice on this live stream.
Go look at my resume, you fucking idiot.
Who have you worked with, notable and celebrity, other than, because anybody can create an IMDb profile. Anybody can put online a portfolio that they've worked with somebody. I can actually put my money where my mouth is.
The only American to play James Bond.
But does anybody even
You
know
are
his voice?
so out of your... Dude, honestly, I would ask you...
You won't even name it.
If you're a voice actor, how come nobody's ever heard of your voice? I don't even recognize your voice, dude. Like, were you on The Simpsons?
And that lead voice is the voice of Timothy Fitzgibbon.
A Simpsons character. I don't even... Your voice doesn't even ring.
Detective Timothy Fitzgibbon of the Calgary Police Service.
Bell. If you're a big shot voice actor... I was just
going to say the same thing. I don't recognize your voice, Ben. I don't.
Well, Mike Rothschild.
Most voice actors don't have a lot of recognition for their talents. But you know what? A lot of
That's name dropping and making recognition. She's making reference to the Rothschild Illuminati family, and she does not have knowledge beyond what she's read online about that organization.
These actors get paid very, very well for what they do.
Really, dude? Really?
Really?
If you... Yeah, you get a SAG Weekly or some bullshit. Shut up, dude. You know what? I listen to this kind of shit from people in the industry my whole career. I have been... I don't have to tell you my resume. Go look it up. I've been in 300 or 400 films. I've done.
You're sitting here with a guy. Just out of curiosity, you're sitting here with a guest that waged war on the United States.
All right, buddy.
Oh my God!
Down the
Come
Capital.
on, bro. You really are programmed, man. Did they got you in the MK Ultra shit or what?
Yeah.
Dude?
Well, you saw his ring, right?
If anything, can you at least provide a link?
Reference to the MK Ultra shit. These guys are the individuals who have been listening to and monitoring my phones, devices, and communications without consent or warrant. That confirms it because that is a reference to communications that I had privately among myself within my home.
He's out. He got bored.
Can somebody give me a voice?
He got desperate.
Give me a good voice.
Hey, and I want to apologize right now. I want to apologize to everybody in this space because I normally don't get triggered like that, but that pissed me off because.
And that is the voice of Aaron Doncaster chiming in. These individuals are obviously using they're all sitting around as a group using one singular account and all chiming into the conversation from that singular account.
What I gave up and what I did to walk away from what I did, to expose what I did, I don't need some voiceover extra trying to call me out because he's stood on set with some big actors and he thinks he knows them. He does not know the inside industry. He doesn't know.
Because he stood on set with some big actors and he knows them. That's insightful information that identifies that this person is a member of law enforcement who has been monitoring my activities for some extended period of time, and that in that extended period of time he has ascertained and retained detailed and very extensive knowledge of my personal activities in the profession.
Anything. So guess what? Bye. You want to come in here and have an intelligent conversation and offer stuff like Gray and Patriot and people that are actually doing this? I just want to let you know I don't normally react that way, but you know what? I'm sorry tonight. I apologize.
No, this is...
Again, the group seems to be using voice filters to conceal themselves from being identified, but that sounds to and appears to be the voice of Caden Green.
Great. I rarely get this laughter like this, so thank you very much. That was awesome. I hope our next person is like.
I'm sorry if I contributed to anything, in the red.
No, brother, you were fine. I mean, it's hard not to clown on a guy with his.
Well, one thing you learn in the martial arts is you never walk into somebody's dojo and say you want to fight. Like you could beat up the black belt in that dojo.
Take note of the individual speaking, which is Brian Gambit, the co-host of this feature or podcast. That comment, you never walk into somebody's dojo and pick a fight. He's also using a voice filter, and that identifies the voice of Mark Vella, who is, in this case, using a voice filter. But if you remove that voice filter, you'll identify very distinct lower tones and inflections in his voice that carry similarities to his Australian accent, which is his primary accent.
It never, ever, ever works out. And sometimes, and Mike and I laugh about this sometimes, people will enter the dojo and they will attempt to take on myself or Mike or Liz in our black belts, and it's just a joke. And they expose themselves. It is funny. I'm glad he came. Honestly, it was the highlight of my night. Notwithstanding the good commentation, but I thought it was great. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Ben.
The man made no actual point. He never actually addressed something specifically. It was a weak smear attempt at generalities.
Well, he can't tell you.
Exactly.
He can't tell you. It's a secret.
Well, the reason
I'd
can't
also
tell
like-
you, he can't.
He can't tell you, it's a secret. The comment which identifies that these individuals have affiliations and are otherwise waging war on institutions and secret societies to which they have knowledge or affiliations. At this point, I'm cut out of the conversation while they continue to bash and or slander my reputation without an opportunity to defend. And this has been a pattern of behavior for the same group of antagonists for the past several years, who has been trying to defame, discredit, and slander my reputation ever since parting ways. Organizers that have been a part of the groups like Lethbridge Roasts and Toasts and other large-scale groups which they have been using to facilitate dialogue to slander and defame my personal reputation.
Tell you his big actors is because he's a voiceover actor. He's nobody. He's an extra. I mean, in my world, I don't even want to get into it, but I mean, I meet thousands of people like this all the time, and there's players and there's NPCs, okay, and that was an
sayers.
I just want to say thank you guys for having the courage to have me on stage, because I know that people like him.
For having me on stage, that's Kaylin Lambert, the voice of Kaylin Lambert, aka Taden Green / Fraser, aka the individual who has been associated with child luring and child predatory behavior, as well as a regular advocate of the group Rat Boy Comedy that appears at Vern's Pizza in downtown Calgary as an open mic comedy festival where the same individuals have revealed information about my personal comings and goings and details of my current residence on stage to other members of that audience.
Are going to be like, oh, you have him up there, and I mean, obviously, I'm nothing like what the Mockingbird media said I was, but you guys had the courage to at least allow me to speak, and I think that is evidence that you believe in freedom of speech and you don't believe the BS that's on the TV, unlike Ben there. So thank you guys for having that courage.
No, hey Jake, listen, man, I've followed your story for a long time, brother. I've wanted to meet you, wanted to talk to you, and you know what? That's what this is all about. It's the Great Awakening. We don't all have to agree on how to worship God or how to get everything done, but we have to agree on one thing. We all hate human trafficking. We all hate the abuse of children. We all hate the things
that are going on in this world. And if we don't stand together and expose this crap, we have a problem. So that's why we do this. I mean, we have a lot of other, information we want to give out. But at the end of the day, this is about leaving this place better than we found it. So, Jake, you're welcome to come in this space anytime you want. And listen.
That's the voice of Jake Angel, better known as the January 6th shaman. And the voice that's speaking currently is masked with a filter, but with the heavy inflections and bassier tones, is believed to be a filtered voice for Alex Jones.
This night has been great. I just don't like being, kind of poked at by somebody who's not going to name names or say the real stuff, because I've been in this for a long time, and it took me a long time to make the choice I made to make Out of Shadows. So when I made it, I knew it was the end of my career. I had nothing to gain from it. I made it with my own money, and I gave it away for free. Got over 100 million views. I did everything I could do to do the best I could to tell a story and wake the population up. What they believe after that is up to them.
So that's both a coded confession and a reference to Alex Jones' own personal career. The coded reference of 100 million views is reference to the $120 million worth of revenue that has been stolen from my career earnings. And the 30 years in the industry reference to Alex Jones' own personal career of 30 years in the industry as an independent media personality.
And, I've been fortunate enough to be surrounded by some great people like Brian and Liz and Dins and all the people that I'm surrounded with. But you know what? When people like that come in, I don't normally lose my shit. Sorry, but it's like don't poke me, man, because go look at. I don't have to prove myself to anybody. So I'm done. Yeah. So anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, we are beyond the asking the question if this is real, because there's been enough people, enough evidence, enough reporting. But let's go on to Tav before.
Wait, I just want to say something like just looking at this dude's Twitter profile for 2 seconds. So he's got like the Illuminati, pyramid ring, and then he has this website linked to his Twitter profile, and you open it up, and there's the one eye as the logo.
Tell me that's not Aquino's son. That's Aquino's bastard boy.
Like, by the way, he joined Twitter July of 2023. His first tweet, it looks like, was September 2nd, 2023. Like, what a joke. That's actually kind of funny.
Tom, are you with us?
I am, and it's Tom, by the way. But I'd just like to say that, well, it's a tough act to follow. Yeah, I met you guys. I went to that tour in Michigan. Me and you, Mike and I talked, and I met Brian, and I talked to Tara, and I met Liz. If anybody could go see it, it's excellent. The stuff you learn, and I saw both the movies, and you do an excellent presentation, all of you, and you're such a pleasure to talk to.
Well, thank you, brother, and I appreciate you, because you know what? All of us have given up a lot to do what we're doing to try to at least educate the people and the population. So thank you for at least saying that. So I just want to thank you, brother. Oh.
Now, I cannot confirm, but the reference to Tara, they didn't give his last name, but that could be a female individual known as Tara Nelson. But this concludes the capture of the recording from that live feed and should satisfy as evidence to proceed with any actions for investigators who are currently reviewing or monitoring the conduct of these individuals in relation to criminal harassment, in relation to other criminal conduct, and I will identify that I am myself a civilian who just happened upon these recordings. Out of curiosity, I responded because of, as described, the relationships I have to members of Hollywood film, and as a result, these individuals just happened to be a lucky break that I was able to vocally identify most of them as members or perpetuators of activities or actions of criminal harassment, intimidation, theft, fraud, and other criminal undertakings linked to members of groups that have been utilizing and or employing resources which were allocated to me personally for my career achievements, which they stole using cyber fraud and other means of interception. Most of these individuals are undercover police officers and members of law enforcement who have sought to defame or discredit me on account of revenge motives for having previously been disciplined in some form for professional misconduct within their field.